From time to time, the subject of a wealth tax is discussed in professional circles, and the question of whether we'll have a wealth tax is asked by clients of their financial and other professional advisors. The answer in the UK to date has been no, probably not. We had the Wealth Tax Commission that had to look at this. That wasn't a government body, it was a think tank substantially funded by the London School of Economics. A well-researched piece emerged from that, suggesting a wealth tax of, I think, 5% on everything over £500,000. It was post-pandemic, so it was proposed it would be called something other than a wealth tax, and it would have as its prime objective to generate some immediate funds to pay down government debt. Anyway, that went nowhere. Neither party, Conservative or Labour, have expressed any interest in adopting it. Although, of course, we will have an election next year, and who knows what might happen then. But it's unlikely, I think, that we'll see a wealth tax in the UK. However, it does have precedent in Europe, and the main country to look at in assessing that precedent is Spain. Spain has had a wealth tax for a number of years, applied on a regional basis, and some regions have the option to contract out of it. Unsurprisingly, perhaps one of those regions is Madrid, and another is a relatively recent one is Andalusia. But the point I want to make in this video is that there has, on top of their general wealth tax, been introduced a new solidarity tax, expressed to be for the purpose of generating funds to help with the effect of global financial crisis, with cost of living crisis, perhaps more appropriately, a more appropriate name for that, post-pandemic, etc., to generate more funds. So the new tax has been termed a solidarity tax on large fortunes. It's only imposed on, well, it depends on your definition, how you feel about this, on very wealthy individuals, and most people will not be affected, according to the commentators in Spain. It's temporary in nature, and hopefully, say the commentators, it'll only last for 2 years, but it's in force for the 2022 and the 2023, basically the tax years in Spain, which are calendar years. Who could be liable for it? Spanish tax residents with net wealth above €3 million. When calculating an individual's net wealth, worldwide assets will be included in the calculation for Spanish tax residents. If you're in Spain, but not considered a Spanish tax resident, then it's on your net Spanish assets above €3 million. It applies, as I said, for the Spanish tax calendar years of 2022 and 2023. Then it will be reviewed to decide about its application in future tax years, apparently. Are there any allowances and exemptions? So is everything subject to this new tax? And bear in mind, this new solidarity tax is not capable of being contracted out of on a regional basis. It's going to apply to everybody wherever you live, provided you're one of those categories I just mentioned. So Spanish tax residents can reduce their general taxable base. So you've kind of got a nil rate band of €700,000. And in addition, tax residents owning a Spanish main home, so a kind of almost like a residence nil rate band, will be able to deduct up to €300,000. So for most people who are potentially going to be caught by this, who will have homes in Spain, probably, it's €1 million is your kind of nil rate band. So it applies only to wealth above €3 million. So in most cases, only those with a net wealth higher than €4 million will have a tax liability. So you say, look, it's only on your net worth of 3 million, and then you've got $1 million as a nil rate band. So it's more, for most people, it'll be €4 million. And then the rate will sort of creep up from an initial 1.7%, which is up to about €5.3 million. After that, after 5.3 million, it's 2.1%, and over 10.5 million, 10.6 million euros, it's 3.5%. And that's a sort of one-off payment. So what if you're in one of those regions that applies a wealth tax, and because you're in Spain, you've got the solidarity tax to consider as well? Then there is effectively a double tax relief, so that no one will pay tax twice. So what this will do, in effect, you will be able to set off any tax that you pay under the normal wealth tax against your solidarity tax liability. So that means, for the first time, people in Madrid and Andalusia who don't pay the normal wealth tax will be dragged into paying a wealth tax, provided they qualify and have assets above the thresholds I've just mentioned. So something to bear in mind, there is a precedent for a wealth tax, but nothing, don't want to do any scaremongering, nothing in the UK from at least any public utterances from either the Conservative or the Labour Party that indicates that anything like that will be adopted in the UK. But of course, we need to keep our eyes open for that. We'll be looking at the manifestos in detail and of course, reporting on them in Techlink.